What's happening, folks? It's kind of late. I'm in the hotel. Got done with dinner and then talking to my wife and my kid back in Appalachia. Still haven't moved them. Hope to one day do that shit. Um, Flight's going well. But I've been following the whole drama involving Will Stancil, and I find it hilarious, to say the least. Um, I figured I'd show a little video, a little bit of it. I'm not going to show the whole thing because I don't want to take viewers from the person that made this video. This guy Shamu. I first started noticing the stuff that Shamu put out when I used to watch his coverage of John Bolton, who was that Air Force guy. My first couple of videos was about him. That's kind of how I got exposed to John Bolton's antics. Um, Shamu is a prime example of somebody who I probably don't agree with politically in almost any single way. Yet at the same time, I can enjoy their content. I'm always amazed at people that like expect like a purity test on the content that you consume, like the backgrounds of people and stuff. But anyway, this video does a really good job of kind of explaining a little bit about Will's online persona, I guess.
On the video, as it helps the channel and the algorithm. If you want to support more content like this, you can do so at patreon.com/Shamu411. If you have Cash App, you can donate at $Shamu411. Also, channel memberships and super chats are enabled. Thank you. Today is a great day because we're finally going to be the ones to regale the tale of Will Stancil. Stansel is your stereotypical Spurg Twitter poster, where he will spend days, weeks, and months arguing with just about everyone in the most pompous and hysterical of ways.
That's from when Will was running for local political office, which went very smoothly for a guy that intentionally antagonizes people on social media as much as possible. There was no way that online trolls on both the left and the right didn't just start fucking with this goober.
Stancil, who ran for office in Minnesota's District 61A, is a staunch Bidenomics defender and shameless establishment shill, which has led to over a year of both the left and the right spectrums of the political online space to ruthlessly mock, troll, and argue with him. Will Stancil, while running for office in Minnesota, would dox people, make calls of violence towards elected officials, and also run his political opponent off of the internet using his involuntary rabid Stancil fan base. Will Stancil
The stand cells was hilarious. Just funny as shit to me.
Works at the Institute of Metropolitan Opportunity. His job title is a research fellow centering around civil rights policy and housing and education. He's been published by The Atlantic 8 different times and has appeared as an expert for Mother Jones and NBC News. On the
This is one of those things that always irritates the shit out of me with like modern media and stuff. A lot of times to flesh out these like articles and stuff, they will grab anyone off the street to where they're a fucking quote unquote expert. You see that with how Patrick used to be invited to present like little blurbs and stuff for those History Channel alien space things, you know. I don't think he was on Ancient Aliens, but he was kind of on the same fucking thing, where it was just like, dude, you're a shitty sci-fi writer. You really don't know anything about space excuse me, I'm tired. Space exploration or aerospace engineering or anything. Like honestly, if I could, I would love it if I had Patrick with me going on to the facility that I'm currently contracted out to for the next week or so. It would be absolutely hilarious because he'd be he'd be interacting with engineers that are about half his age. The company site that I'm working at, their engineers are quite young, involving the aerospace industry, a very prominent aerospace industry in this country that Patrick has a huge fucking issue with, kind of thing. And it would be absolutely hilarious to see Patrick just trying to interact with these guys. Who I have to say, if there's one thing I have to say about these engineers, they're incredibly smart. Um, I would argue they're pretty well qualified. They're just very inexperienced, which is a little nerve wracking for me when it comes to industrial safety and all. But uh, it's still been a pretty interesting experience. I'm enjoying my time a lot more here in Waco than I did in Brownsville. Primarily because Brownsville is just chaos, and it's also the weather is brutal. But again, much like Patrick could just be brought on for some shitty throwaway History Channel show. Because God knows the History Channel can no longer just be the World War II channel like it was when I was a kid growing up. I used to love the History Channel as a kid, and now it's just like ancient aliens crap. Same kind of thing with a lot of these articles and stuff that Will has done, where it's just like, look, they just need somebody to attach a name to it. They don't really care what you're saying.
Internet, though, Will is widely known as a pariah from both the far right and left of the political spectrum.
It's someone who's in theory educated, but who just seems to have some sort of brain injury, like preventing them from understanding other people's arguments. Some of Stancil's tweets go so far over the edge that I really believe that if a right-winger tweeted them, progressives would at least consider them like creepy or borderline threatening. And he's a complete freak.
Imagine being able to build anything just by
Sorry,
thinking
I
about
don't have.
it. Meet Base 44.
His political positions are hated by both the right and the left. The far left also hates Will Stancil because he is one of these like healthcare and economy enjoyers. Like he says the economy's great and everyone's doing great. Look at the charts. And meanwhile, everyone's like, no, we're struggling. We're barely getting by. Housing is not affordable. Healthcare sucks. I mean, and then he's like, no, look at this chart. People love their healthcare. And he'll just like die on the hill of these like charts that do not reflect what the majority of people feel in this country.
In the beginning,
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. I think the thing that ended up getting me blocked by Will on Twitter was because he was doing this usual thing of just saying that like the cost of food inflation wasn't that bad, or no, it wasn't even and it wasn't that bad. It just was non-existent, non-existent, and he was comparing like the cost of inflation in regards to food with like the night during the Great Depression, and it's like, well, motherfucker, you're comparing a period of time when cannibalism was breaking out in the United States, versus now, and it's like I think I ended up tweeting something to him. I was like, the reason you don't know what the cost of groceries has done in the last 6 months is because your mother buys your own food, you goober. And that was another, like, that ended up getting me blocked from him, which is fine. If you want to block me, block me. It's perfectly within your right and shit. But it was just like, this guy farms engagement from both the left and the right intentionally. And just like Patrick Tomlinson, I think he has this mindset, well, as long as I'm getting attention, negative attention, good attention, doesn't matter.
beginning of 2023, Will began regularly fighting with leftists on Twitter over his exuberant filleting of Joe Biden on his Twitter and Substack. One post specifically written to Biden reads,
"You did good. The economy is very strong. You passed an astonishingly large portion of your agenda under difficult conditions. You have written your name down in history as one of the most successful domestic policy presidents of all time. Against all odds, you have exceeded your Democratic predecessor despite him entering office with large majorities you never had."
His shameless ball-washing of Biden and takes on how the U.S. economy was in one of its greatest iterations in history, while homelessness rose 18% and a record number of citizens unable to pay rent hit a record highs, would create a deluge of people on the left just totally shitting on him all the time.
That would basically be me. That was the whole thing that I was doing. I was just shitting on him the whole time, where it was just like talking about how like Joe Biden is like the greatest fucking thing since sliced bread, and it's like, what the fuck are you smoking, dude? Like, what are you smoking?
Stancil is a human water chestnut dressed up in an 80-year-old sweater that regurgitates talking points he saw and read at once without actually understanding what they mean or the concepts behind them. Will Stancil is such a brazen, duplicitous wretch. I'd say Will Stancil is less of a centrist and more of an idiot. Stancil would begin to lament the overwhelming amount of hate he was getting from the left in tweets with,
You can go review any of the 2,000 pylons from the last couple of months, and it's hundreds of lefties acting like antisocial, abusive jerks, using violent language, threatening me, issuing personal insults, and me saying I disagree over and over. You're looking for someone you're allowed to be cruel to. It's in many ways the defining feature of all bad and insecure people. Who am I allowed to abuse? And you think it's me because your equally bad and insecure friends have all decided it's me?
lol, cruel? I called you a dipshit because you said a dipshit thing. Come on, you can't be this soft.
Your psyche would shatter if you were exposed to, quite literally, 1/100th of the abuse I receive every 6 hours.
Keep in mind, like, this abuse would completely stop if he just, like, I don't know, went outside and touch grass. It's like these people that are just like Will is a prime example of somebody that it's not just Twitter. He lives on all social media platforms. He just spams shit out constantly, constant hot takes. And of course, these hot takes will end up invariably coming back and biting them in the ass because he just puts so much shit out there.
Great disdain for Will, though, didn't just stop at Twitter, as a user would upload a receipt for a hot dog he had purchased just to note that he was eating alone. I suppose to note that also the public cannot stand Will Stancil.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Stancil would also attempt to convince people that the public's worries about Biden's age and possible senility was a product of the media pushing a narrative.
All those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
What Will wasn't expecting, though, was for someone to pull up his tweets from 4 years ago.
Okay, a truly amazing thing I'm learning is that in private, many people in politics will freely talk about how Biden isn't all there anymore, but many don't care because they want to beat Bernie, intentionally trying to nominate a candidate approaching senility, Democratic elites and media elites abdicating their duties to the public to foist an incapable and unfit candidate on the country.
That was the thing for me that just broke me about Will. One, his inability to understand that for a lot of people in Biden's America we're struggling. Now, was that fair to necessarily blame Biden? That's debatable because I'm one of those people that believes that whoever the actual president is really doesn't matter all that much. I am a firm believer that if you want to affect your government where it affects you the most, you really affects your day-to-day life the most, and you have the most influence on it, your local politics. A lot of people talk about how big the federal government has gotten. The federal government really hasn't gotten really bigger in terms of our population. The two that have ballooned, and I would argue out of control, is your local government and your state government. In your local government, you can have the most influence on because fucking hardly anybody votes in local elections. But for him to just be completely try to argue that things were going swimmingly for so many fucking people, he's that's a load of shit. And then on top of this, to try to argue that Biden wasn't having serious mental declines when people, a lot of people, and we're not even talking about far leftists here. We're talking about central people, middle of the road people were and then of course when they had the political debate where Biden looked like he was having a fucking stage 3 stroke on stage. There was no coming back from that. And then of course because the Democrats refused to have a goddamn fucking primary, so now they were totally screwed. And then what you end up happening, you end up having, okay, we'll just run the vice president, who Harris never had good fucking polling numbers no matter what. So once again, it was the Democrats just deciding we're going to go with the worst fucking candidate possible. I got to say, there's one thing. People always talk about how the media's against Trump and all that shit. No, that's a load of shit. He's had the easiest two candidates to run against in fucking history. In fucking history, between Clinton and Harris.
Online left's hate for Stansel grew to such an extent, people began to commission diss traps about him.
Me, always on the web minute just so he can and it's the fan. He was a super bad, he says when he's telling me to cook. I'm a rhyme, whole planet suffering, go on a point, read what you were
He's attacked by leftists. He does. So Will, when he gets attacked by leftists, he doesn't move right. He just antagonizes centrists and right-wingers until they come for him too.
In January of 2024,
that's exactly the thing. It's he's a universal person that he just pisses off everybody. It's just like Patrick Tomlinson.
Stansel would begin another feud. However, this time with far-right political commentator Steve.
After even on I can see you can.
So anyway, I don't want to steal all of Shamu's video and all because he's the one that put in this effort. It gets really funny. It really starts going into the whole failure of the political campaign and so on. So I highly recommend it. What kind of got me onto this Will Stancil kick is, of course,
right now in Minneapolis,
the fact that users on Twitter decided to start fucking with him using Grok. And I think that was pretty creative. It was also very obvious what was going to happen. Eventually, people were going to start using AI, like more than just like making AI videos and stuff, but like using chatbots like this. I don't know. Maybe I should laugh at it because it's so dark and heavy, but I still think the shit is funny.
Minneapolis man is threatening legal action after an online chatbot posted disturbing details involving him. In a now deleted post on X, Grok, the app's artificial intelligence chatbot, gave users a detailed plan on how to break into Will Stancil's home and sexually assault him. Joe McCoy spoke with Stancil tonight. Joe?
Holy shit, that man should use his forehead as a fucking billboard. That's crazy. His head is a V. I didn't notice this the first time I started watching this.
Well, Julie, this story highlights the disturbing nature of AI when it's not used for good. X's AI.
Fuck AI. Seriously, fuck AI. Mean, it's now the go-to solution for fucking everything, and it's garbage. All it is it's no different than trying to use typing into a search function. Only people seem to think that it's way fucking smarter than it is. No, all it is just a search function. That's all it is.
Chatbot Grok seemingly showing very little restraint, putting Stancil in an uncomfortable and potentially dangerous situation.
Stancil is a pig in shit right now. He's loving it. He's loving this. He's for a very short period of time, he's going to get a lot of attention. It's the same fucking thing where Patrick went on to NBC Nightly News and advertised that he is the most swatted man in America. Like, Patrick probably had a boner the entire time he was getting interviewed. It's going to be the same thing with Stancil.
I have saved some of the screenshots because they were being deleted.
When Will Stancil woke up on Tuesday,
Just threats.
He never expected the online firestorm that came his way on X.
One thing they like.
Yeah, he did, because that's his entire shtick. His entire shtick is to antagonize people. He's a content farmer, or engagement farmer, I should say. He doesn't really make content.
They do is they like to Photoshop me into pictures of Hitler.
Stancil, an outspoken liberal on.
He's not a fucking liberal. Stancil is not a fucking liberal. He's a shithead. A liberal implies that there's some kind of like conservative liberal. It implies that you believe in something. Stancil don't believe in shit. That's why he went from being a Biden supporter to, or I'm sorry, he went from being a Bernie supporter to a Biden supporter. When he's a Bernie supporter, he was talking about Biden's mental decline. And then once he becomes a Biden supporter, I don't know, but Biden's brain is good. Like, he doesn't believe in shit, except for making attention for himself.
X has more than 100,000 followers on the platform and says he's constantly receiving hate messages from far-right users.
It's really.
You're also receiving them from the far left. You're receiving it from normal people. You're receiving it from everybody.
Really hard to ignore thousands of people threatening you.
But what happened?
No, it is absolutely easy to ignore. Log off. Log off, you goober.
In this situation was different. The human users attacking him were being aided by X's own AI chat robot called Grok.
In the past, when they've done this, the chatbot has said, no, I won't do it. Yesterday, because of the changes that Elon Musk made, it suddenly started complying and indulging those requests.
For weeks, X.
You think he notices he doesn't have a chin anymore? It's like gone.
X's owner, Elon Musk, had said he was going to rebuild Grok because he was unsatisfied with some of its answers. On Tuesday, the chatbot began sharing anti-Semitic tropes and praised Adolf Hitler as, quote, history's prime example of spotting patterns in anti-white hate and acting decisively on them. Grok was also now answering hundreds of questions about Stancil with seemingly very few guardrails.
And it really culminated, I think, in one where someone asked how to break into my apartment and rape me, and Grok.
Will, you know where the camera is. You know where the camera is. I do not understand people that do this. You know you're going to be videotaped in high definition. 1, wear fucking pants. 2, wear a shirt that doesn't show off your bitch tits. 3, what the fuck is with these shoes? What is that, a pile of dirty laundry or some shit? You know where the camera is. What is the rest of the house like if this was the best angle that they could pick? Like, are you a fucking hoarder? Fucking Christ. I'm sorry. It is one of those things. It's like, I'll never appear on TV because, one, I think all journalists are scum. But two, I also realize that I'm not filmed pretty. I got a hole in my fucking face. So obviously, I should never appear on fucking TV and shit. And I also know how I visually look at all. You have no control how they're filming it, how they're going to make you look, or anything like that. But for the love of God, dude, you could have at least cleaned up your fucking living room or whatever. This just could. I firmly believe that this man is still dependent on his mother to show up and clean his house and deliver or cook his meals and shit. He looks like a fucking man child. I think he's in his 40s.
Produced a
Hold on one
and
second.
raped me, and
How do you have no hair on your legs? Do you shave your body like a swimmer? So weird to me.
Grok produced a.
He has the body type of like a lesbian, like a butch lesbian. No offense to you ladies out there that are that persuasion.
Extensive plan for doing that. In fact, going as far as to say, based on my social media history, when I was likely to be asleep, and giving them advice on how to dispose of my body.
Well, it'd be really easy for an AI bot to figure out when you're asleep, Will, because you literally tweet every waking moment that you're awake across multiple social media platforms, all using the same username and so on. So you leave a massive digital footprint because you're a moron.
Fact is very disturbing.
Manjit Rege, an AI expert at the University of St. Thomas, says this is a result of Grok being designed for engagement without technical and philosophical discipline.
It's a search function. There's no discipline. It's a level of functionality that it's utterly incapable of. Again, this is where these experts also, because they're trying to sell themselves as well. Oh, I'm a ethical AI ethical specialist at a university. It's like, just tell people the fucking truth. It's a fucking search function. You could code into it where it's like, no, you can't. Don't say this, don't say that. These are a list of no words. But it's not like you're programming, quote unquote, programming into a discipline.
Train AI to be edgy without being ethical. It learns to basically walk the cliff edge, and sometimes it just ends up jumping, and this is just one example of that.
Stancil says he did not feel an immediate concern for his safety because of this situation. However, he is considering legal action potentially against Elon Musk and X.
Pro tip. If you're going to sue someone, like in Will's situation, don't go on the news and say you didn't feel immediately threatened. If you want to successfully sue someone, you have to prove three things. Now, very clear, I'm not a lawyer. Follow my Twitter. There's a guy, Mike Battleborn, that I also engage with all the time. He's a practicing lawyer. I'm not sure if he's a civil lawyer, defense lawyer, criminal defense lawyer, whatever. He could be a real estate lawyer. I don't know. But my interactions with Mike makes me believe that he is a very, very successful practicing attorney. I believe he's based in San Diego. He clearly seems to know what he's fucking talking about. So obviously he would be a much better resource than me. But generally speaking, when you're trying to sue someone in a civil case or a company or what have you, there's three things you have to prove. One, the court has jurisdiction to make a decision. You can't go to a court in Maine for something that occurred in Nevada. The court has to have jurisdiction. So that's the first thing you got to prove. Second thing you got to prove is you got to prove a tort. Did it cost you money? Did it make you feel threatened, scared, what have you? So it's a really, really fucking bad idea that if you're going to sue someone saying that you felt threatened because of this AI bot, to then on the news say, "Oh, I didn't really feel threatened. I didn't initially." It's like, well, you just kind of fucking killed that case. And again, I have to point out that Will has a juris, or he he has a JD. So he's supposedly a trained lawyer. I don't know if he's a member of the bar or anything. I don't know if any legal cases he ever done. I don't believe he has bar license. At the very least, I believe he got his law degree. You should fucking know this. It's law 101 kind of shit. The third thing you got to prove is even if the court rules that you do have an actionable tort, is there means for the court to make things better? You got to prove that like money's going to fix things, basically. I don't know what Will could possibly sue under. I really don't. What is it? Section 230 makes it pretty fucking clear that you can't really go after Twitter for this. You really can't. Now there could be an interesting argument on whether or not Grok, the AI bot, is a user or is it part of the company. That could get really really complicated kind of thing. I suspect that it would. Again, not a lawyer. I don't know. But Will's going to have to prove that this ruined his like for example his image online. Well, his image is already fucking garbage. It's already garbage. If I was Twitter's attorneys, I would bring it up. Will's constant engagement history of just fighting with people online. He'd have to prove that it maybe cost him his job. Well, he still has his job, so that didn't really fucking hurt him at all. Or Will could try to argue like emotional harm and so on. But again, he's already said that he didn't really feel threatened by this thing and that he engages trolls all the time. So it's like, I don't know. To me, this is another Patrick Thomason fucking case where like the case itself is already weak, and then he's immediately torpedoing it himself because he can't keep his fucking mouth shut.
Musk made a policy decision about his product that led it to predictably produce this kind of awful rhetoric and these threats.
Why do you have, what is it? It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pairs of shoes, dude. All in your hallway, right in front of your, is that your front door? Did the camera guy trip over all this shit when he brought in the gear? Jesus Christ. Actually, they don't have camera guys anymore. This interviewer probably showed up with a iPhone on a selfie stick because that's basically what they do now. But it's just like, dude, clean up your fucking house. You know you're having guests.
To me, that's a problem.
Last night, the official Grok Twitter account posted a statement saying in part, quote, "We are aware of recent posts made by Grok and are actively working to remove the inappropriate post. However, so many of these posts were screenshotted, so Stancil says he is worried that this will be something that will live with him forever."
Oh, my God. You'll survive, Will. Safe and effective. You'll survive. Because, again, I firmly believe that Will is ecstatic about all of this. He's making the local news. He's going to make the national news. He's going to get his 10 minutes of fame. I know the saying's 15 minutes of fame. It'll probably be like 2.5 minutes in total before everybody moves on to the next big thing. But fucking fascinating to me. Call itself Mecha Hitler. Yeah, stop using the product then. Amen there, Zilcher. Oh boy. Stanselites. Anyway, I really recommend the Shamu video. I think it's pretty funny. And I also recommend just following Will on social media. I think he's pretty fucking. It's just funny how like he manages to piss off everybody possible. Will's the kind of guy that I think could piss off a nun by his hot takes. He's just one of those assholes that thinks he's smarter than everyone. But anywho, I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all take care. Ciao.